Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Pittsburgh Sports Memories Current Events. This is for October 14th from whenever we last did it. I think we're going short on this one. It's only been 2 weeks, but during football season, me and Tim will update more frequently since there's a lot more going on that's of consequence. So, as usual, I'm your co-host, Steve Wirt, and I'm joined by
Tim Hannon.
All righty, Tim. Let's jump right into it. Hey, hockey has began in the last 2 weeks here, but the Penguins opened the season pretty well. They played the Rangers, who I think are going to be a pretty decent team, and they beat them 3-0. And the new goalie, can you pronounce Arturas Savolas?
Yeah.
I can't. Is that his name? Sure. They won 3-0. He had a shutout, and then they beat the Islanders. Jari was in net. And I don't know. Jari looked shaky from the highlights I saw, but I guess he made enough saves in the third period to pull it out, that's kind of the life of a Penguin goaltender. It doesn't really matter how many you let in as long as you stop the ones in the third period that you need to. So, then they got blown out. The Rangers came to PPG, like Mike Sullivan got his video tribute, and they blew the Penguins out in the third period. It ended up being 6-1. So they're 2-3. I don't know what they'll do tonight. I don't know if that means
They're 2-1.
2-1. Did I say 2-3? Yeah, I meant 2-1. Yeah.
As of this recording,
it's
we're
right.
Tuesday.
2-1. Maybe I hope they don't go 2-3. I hope they make I hope they make the playoffs, but we'll see. I think it really comes down to the goaltending, Tim. If this new whatever Slavolis guy can be at least mediocre, that they have a really good chance at least making the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win in the playoffs, but they'll at least make it, and that's something, right?
Yeah, I don't think they're. I don't think they're going to be bad enough to have a shot at McKenna, like a legit shot at McKenna. I don't think they're going to be good enough to make the playoffs. So, and that's fine.
They're kind of like in the Philadelphia Flyers. They're like trying to rebuild while hanging on to the old guard at the same time, which sucks because Malkin and Letang really aren't that great, but Crosby still is. Crosby's still like a very good player, and that's the shame of it. So
yeah, that is a shame. But I think Crosby might play another, maybe 4 to 5 years because he's just in such good shape and he's still playing at a high level. And I think that's enough time to get some of these guys. They have a lot of really good young players, like that Russian kid for the goaltender that he was so good in camp, and they sent him down to Wilkes-Barre, which is great because you don't want him just sitting in the bench every night. That Kindle who they drafted in the first round, he's playing at least for now. He'll probably only be here temporarily.
Yeah, I think they're saying that they're probably only going to get 9 games because I've heard it's something with the contract.
Yeah, it's a goofy arrangement they have worked out. But regardless, it's like there's a lot of hope for the future, and cool that they started off the season pretty decent. But I don't expect that to last, and I'm okay with it not lasting. Like I think that they're doing the right thing by building for the future, and better days are ahead no matter what.
This is probably Letang and Malkin's last season?
It's Malkin's last season in Pittsburgh, 100%. I don't know if he'll try to play again next year, but I think Letang will have a few more years. Like just that skill set that he has is hard to replace, and he'll hang around for a few more years. But Malkin,
he's had a lot of like serious injuries, like Letang. Like I don't know. Yeah, so.
I mean, you could be right. But that's my prediction. I think Letang hangs around a couple more seasons. I think this is 100%. Malkin even keeps saying, he was just saying in an interview the other night, this is my last year here. And
that sucks. I wish he would retire a Penguin.
Well, and he might. He's not. I think when he says that, he knows it's his last year in Pittsburgh. It might be his last year period, but I don't think he knows that yet. But it'll be a emotional thing, I think, once we get to the end of the year, and everybody knows that.
So, moving one last comment on baseball before we wrap it up till February, Tim. The Pirates went out and kept everybody in the management section of their team, and I'm not quite sure. They kept Charrington, and as soon as the season was over, they kept Kelly, the manager. I mean, he's okay, but I mean, really, they couldn't even look at anybody else, and especially the GM should have. I mean, it's kind of like, so I heard somebody say it's kind of like the Matt Canada logic after like the first year with Kenny Pickett. They were kind of like, oh, well, we don't want to ruin all the progress. But you knew like Matt Canada wasn't, like I even said halfway through that first, I said they got to get a real offensive coordinator. So I don't know. The Pirates just are so, maybe it doesn't matter because like we said, next year is kind of make or break. Like, it's just, if nothing happens, if they don't get a salary cap after 2026, I think I'm gonna be done with baseball for a while. As a serious fan, I just so
I have nothing left to say. I mean,
yeah.
they're not a serious sports franchise.
No. They make the Clippers look well. Although the Clippers, at least they cheated and they spent all that money on Kawhi Leonard under the table to at least try. The
Yeah,
Pirates don't even try.
they're not trying. They're not a serious. They're not serious. You don't keep all the same people when you have all these years of losing.
Yeah.
If you're serious at all, they're not serious. And to be fair, like Carrington is awful, but I don't see how you would get somebody else who would turn anything around because they're still going to work under the same constraints as
Right.
Carrington's working under. So what's the point? It's like until the ownership changes, you can just keep. It's just like
Yeah.
shuffling. What's that phrase, Steve?
Oh, you're rearranging deck chairs on the
On the
Titanic.
Titanic. Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly. Thank you. I couldn't think of the
Yeah.
phrase, but that's exactly what it is. So
Well, moving on from that dark thoughts to football palooza, Tim. All right, let's start with Pitt football. So after losing 2 games in a row to West Virginia and what was it, Louisville, all week, all you heard was Eli Holstein starting. Tim, Eli Holstein is starting. He's had a great week of practice. So,
did you hear his explanation for that?
no, no. But beside the fact he was trying to mess with, who were they playing that week? The Bill O'Brien. I don't care. He messed with Bill O'Brien's head. Good for him. I totally love the fact that he messed with Bill O'Brien, who's not a very nice person. So I mean, yeah, cry me a river, Bill O'Brien. In Boston College, that team looks like North Carolina does for Belichick. They look very disinterested in playing football. So I guess they got their NIL money, and there you go. That's what happened. So Pitt, of course, starts Mason Heichel or whatever his name is, and they win 48-7. And I think really the big story in that game was that Cade Bell decided to run the ball, and they still didn't have Desmond Reed that game, but I think that's been a big story is they haven't been running the ball enough and being balanced. And people have said that, like, this new kid doesn't feel like he has to be Superman. And I think that's what was happening with Holstein is he was just trying to do everything, and he was throwing a lot of really bad interceptions. And I think especially at the end of that Louisville game, I thought he kind of hung his head and just, he looked beat. So good for them. They win 48-7, but like I said, Boston College looked really bad. It didn't look very competitive. So they go on the road to play in Tallahassee against Florida State. And I think, what were they, a 20-point underdog, 12-point, 10-point?
They were pretty good. I mean, Florida State was ranked in the top 25. So
yeah, they were pretty. And like, I think one of those, they give those StatCast things. I think they had Florida State at 80% winning. So once again, those things are meaningless. They don't mean anything. They're never right. So Pitt only had a 20%. I mean, I think I would have. I don't know. I guess with Pitt starting the freshman quarterback 2 weeks in a row, everybody thought he'd fall apart. Well, he didn't. He played very well. He had over 300 yards passing. He did have a couple of interceptions. I didn't think the first one I thought was just an arm punt. Basically, he threw it up and it was third down. The second one hurt. I don't know if it was completely his fault, but it hurt because it looked like they were at least going to get a field goal out of it, and the receiver fell down and he threw it. It wasn't like a really bad, like where you thought he just was staring the guy down. But it wasn't good either. But once again, like on that first drive, Pitt went for it 3 times on fourth down and converted all of them. And a couple of them were on plays that I swear I was watching the Chiefs-Lions game, And that was right out of the Chiefs playbook. That one where they send Desmond Reed into the flat on 4th down, like off the edge, where he lines up in like a wing. I guess Andy Reid is stealing Cade Bell's plays, right, Tim?
Yeah, it was everything.
Totally stole. Andy Reid stealing everything from Cade Bell. And it doesn't, it's a little different with, I guess, Mason Heichel and Desmond Reed than, Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes might be.
Yeah, but everything looked fluid, everything looked sharp, and that kid, man, Mason Heinzel. I mean, he looks confident. He looks. I mean, he's so young too. You look at him,
Yeah.
you interview him, and I know this is me being old, but to me, he looks like he's like a middle schooler. And
well, I think he's only 18 or 19.
Yeah, he's 18.
Yeah. He just learned he just got his driver's license like last week. Yeah.
I mean,
he can't even have a beer. He can't go drink or anything.
Yeah. It's a really good start for him. Like it does give new life into the season because, man, it was starting to really fall apart quickly there. So Narduzzi's so insufferable, but he's a good coach at the same time.
What was his explanation for?
Just that he was like trying to like, ooh, look over here, no, look over here. It was that kind of thing. And
whatever.
And that's what I mean. He's insufferable, but he did the right thing. He's
insufferable. What about what? I don't remember Narduzzi being this aggressive. He wasn't like super conservative, but man, going for it 3 times on 4th down. I mean, I realize like 4th and 1, 4th and 2, but yikes. I mean, they've done it. Like I remember that game in 2017 against Miami where they could have kicked a field goal and they went for it and had Kenny Pickett sneak around and end up scoring a touchdown. So I guess he has been aggressive in the past. And I thought I heard in the broadcast they said Pitt's beat a ranked team 8 out of the last 9 seasons under him. So I mean, hey, here's a coach who actually wins games against ranked opponents. I bet there's some other teams in the state that might like that, huh? But then
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, but then we lose to Louisville, so you gotta take the good and take the bad. You beat a talent, but this is the most Pitt season ever. They do it 2016 on one of our podcasts. We went over it. It's like you lose to Louisville and West Virginia, who aren't really that good, and you beat Florida State at home, in Tallahassee. Yeah. It's a welcome to Pitt football, folks.
Yeah, well, I'm excited. I'm just excited about this kid. It's nice to have, and I liked Eli Holstein. We talked about that last episode we did. Is he done? We like him, but man, he just the throwing the interceptions in the end zone. He did that like every single week, and it was just, it just was too much, and it stinks for him. But this kid is looking really good. And again, it's 2 games. We can't get too excited because we were all, you had texted me, Steve. I texted you saying on Saturday, like, boy, this kid looks really good, and you said, well, we said the same thing about Eli at this point last year, and you're right, we did. So, we need more of a sample size.
I will say this about both quarterbacks: they look good when they're. Well, I think Eli looks way better outside the pocket, has a better throwing when he's outside the pocket. And this kid could do that too. But when you see him throw, it's the funkiest arm motion. Now, when he's in the pocket, it isn't as bad. And I think defenses are going to start to figure this out like they did they're going to try and keep him in the pocket and because that's, make him beat you with passes instead of just scrambling around or running that wiki-whack offense. Like, actually stand back there and have to complete passes, and we'll see, if he can develop that way. If he can just not throw interceptions, Pitt will be in the games. But an issue is becoming now is Pitt's offensive line got hurt, but I think their offensive line is kind of okay. Like they can survive those injuries. The bigger problem is the defensive line. I think they were down to 1 defensive lineman in that Florida State game, and they had that, but they still stopped the run. I thought Florida State would run all over them because I think that's another thing teams are figuring out. Like Pitt, it's a classic Pitt defense that they've always had. Like when Pitt has a good defense, it's always kind of undersized and good, like running sideline to sideline. But if you run at them, you can kind of push them around a little. And I've seen a lot of those Pitt defenses over the years, and I get the feeling this is one. And they're starting a lot of freshmen. So that kind of concerns me because I think the defense has been decent. I mean, I know they gave up like 30 some points to Louisville, but I thought that's just because they were throwing the offense just hung them out to dry in that game
Yeah, that was
completely.
really a lot of turnovers. But
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
see. We'll see. It's a really really tough schedule ahead.
yeah, yeah. I have that. There's the next three are Syracuse in the dome, NC State, who they always lose to, and then Stanford, who I haven't even looked up what Stanford's record is, but I think the bigger issue is they have to go to the West Coast to
Hmm.
play. That's in San Francisco area and Stanford, and that's ask Penn State about going to the West Coast. So it's a tough trip.
And then
Um,
after that, they've got Notre Dame,
yeah, those are the games that they're probably going to lose. They never beat Miami, and they have Notre Dame,
and
and
they have Georgia Tech, who might be the best team in the conference this
yeah,
year.
yeah, Georgia Tech's really good.
Yeah,
So I think 7 wins realistic for them, Tim. I mean, what are they at? Do they got 4 wins now? Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
3 more wins, 4 more losses. I don't know. I
yeah.
guess
We'll
that's
see. I'm again. I think it's exciting that it's there's a little bit of new life into the season. It's like this reminds me of that Steelers season where Tommy Maddox came in.
yeah,
It's like they weren't like a terrible team without Tommy Maddox, but it like breathed new life into them, and you
yeah,
had sort of like renewed hope that you didn't have before. And I feel
yeah.
that way about this Pitt season.
So probably 7 wins, and I've been saying that all season. They look
Yeah,
like a 7 win team.
it's
So
realistic.
So on to the Steelers. After having their fun road trip to Ireland and beating the bye week, they were merciless against that bye week. Tim, they beat it good. They beat Cleveland this week in a very boring game. Quite honestly, Aaron Rodgers looked good at times. The good for him was that pass to Connor Hayward was that in the third quarter? I think it was,
Yeah.
and that there aren't a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that can make that throw. Where running to your right, throwing back against your body, and he threw a bullet too. And
Mm-hmm.
that was after I think I texted you that he looked 40 years old because he had DK Metcalf open before that,
Wide open.
and he just I don't think he just threw it. I think he tried to be too perfect, or he like tried to finesse it in and it floated. But then he made it up when DK Metcalf was open again. He hit him perfectly.
Yeah.
So Aaron Rodgers is not a problem on this team right now. He looks like he's saying all the right thing. He's doing all the right things. He's playing his position well. He's not turning the ball over, which is a big thing. And I don't know what to make of the Steelers offensive line. I didn't look I meant to look up. Did Myles Garrett have any sacks?
No, he had nothing. He was invisible, like he usually is against us.
But I thought early in the game they were getting pressure. I thought Cleveland was getting pressure and the offensive line looked a little discombobulated, but I think as the game went on, the offensive line kind of grew into the game. So and they had a pretty good running game again. Like they were able to run the ball as the game went along. I still like I know everybody, all the Steelers, like I really Cam Scattaboo for the Giants looks like a Steeler. And I don't know who this other guy is. I had to go back and watch his highlights from Iowa, and it's like, was it just because the black and gold uniforms? Like, well, he looks like a Steeler because he's wearing black and gold, but he doesn't. He looks like a very like fast running back, not a physical. And I don't know. But they got Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren had a good game, and that he's not really going to see the field. The rookie's not going to see the field this year. That's pretty obvious, I guess.
Yeah,
But
Gainwell's been in there doing a really nice
yeah,
job, and I'm not ready to call anything on Caleb Johnson versus Cam Scattergood. I mean, it's like way too early. Like I know Cam Scattergood looks really sharp right now for the Giants,
he
but
just looks like a Steeler, Tim.
he does.
He's physical. He's a hard runner. He
Yeah,
looks like this guy. You watch his highlights. He's like a glider. He's very fast. He
yeah.
doesn't look very physical. Like it just, I don't.
Willie Parker didn't look like a Steeler running back either, and he was pretty good.
But I don't know. Yeah. Well, maybe it's going to take him a couple years. It took Willie a couple years to
yeah,
really find
like
his
I
groove.
said, it's way too early,
Yeah.
and he got into the game this past Sunday. All three of them, Gainwell and Warren and Caleb Johnson, all three of them had, I think they all combined for over 100 yards. This whole thing having the sixth, the Spencer Anderson in there is like the tackle eligible
Yeah.
That's been working really well. They really use Darnell Washington a lot as a receiver.
Yeah, that was weird. Like people were saying he's their number one tight end over Jonnu Smith, and like I guess are they going to trade Pat Fryermuth? People are talking like they're going
I,
to trade.
I think they just game plan for whatever. Cleveland
Yeah.
has. You talked about it being a boring game. That was expected. Cleveland
They have
has
a
a
good
really good
deep.
defense.
Yeah, they do. They do.
It's a really good defense. So
Yeah.
being able to move the ball against them is not easy. And the first play of the game was that little
Yeah. Well, they
rollout.
caught him. That was a good play design. Yeah, he kind of caught him, off guard with
Well,
that.
and that's you
pass.
talked about Matt Canada earlier and how you need a
Matt
real offensive
Canada never
coordinator.
would have, come up with that. Yeah.
The difference is so like Arthur Smith is a real offensive coordinator.
Right.
Like you can just
Right.
see the difference. Like this guy knows how to call a football game, and we did not have that before. And I'm not making excuses for Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett did not play well. He did not deserve to be a starting quarterback, but it kind of stunk that he didn't have a real offensive coordinator. That's all.
I will say this: Cleveland does their tackles stink on their offensive line, but their center guard, and they did get hurt and through the process of the game are good. And we seem to be able to stop the running game, and that rookie running back for Cleveland isn't bad. And I didn't think the rookie quarterback. I didn't think that Dylan. I never thought much of Dylan Gabriel, like through his college career, but he didn't look bad. They just dropped a lot of passes on him, and then they got so far behind. I didn't think he looked terrible. Maybe they have something there. I doubt it. They're so badly mismanaged. That whole franchise, what a joke. I guess I could say that for four other people because I just keep watching Baker Mayfield highlights and he was good for them too that one year. Like he beat the Steelers in Heinz Field. Like I don't understand why they didn't keep Baker Mayfield.
I do.
Because they're the
Browns.
It's
a simple answer. Yep, because they're the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, you could say that about like two other teams too. Like Carolina ran him out, and wasn't there another team that ran him? Yeah.
Yeah, but the Rams didn't really run him out.
They had Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Carolina had Baker and Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, Cleveland. Just so Baker Mayfield. If the season ended today, Baker Mayfield's the MVP. I mean, it's like it's
well,
not.
He's like a Terry Bradshaw. It just took him a couple years to really develop.
Yeah, but like you said, it wasn't like he stunk in Cleveland.
No.
He had that season where he got him almost to the AFC Championship game,
and then he got hurt.
I remember he got hurt.
Hurt, yeah.
And then Watson became available. And typical Cleveland, they're like, no, we need the big shiny car. We can't just drive around like the sensible car. And just imagine they made the playoffs 2 years ago. Imagine if they keep all those draft picks, keep all that salary cap space.
Yeah.
Baker be their quarterback. Like, just imagine where they'd be right now. But it's such a Cleveland thing that they sank their team to sign a guy who's barely played for them.
And when he's played, he's not been good.
And when he's played, he's been terrible. What a typical just garbage franchise move. I feel bad for the fans in Cleveland. I legit feel bad for the fans in Cleveland. They deserve better than that.
Well, pretty soon they'll have a dome. So
there you go.
Yeah. The Steelers in the second half rested a lot of defensive players, but they still got people hurt. I think is Jalen Ramsey not hurt now, or I know he played.
He was hurt coming in.
Well, what a surprise! Like I always hated that guy, but man, he's like,
great.
You know who he is? He's the instigator in hockey, or like David Eckstein for the Cardinals and Angels, like the guy you hate when he's not on your team, or Altuve for the Astros. Yeah. Like he's like that guy you just can't stand when he's on the other team, but when he's on your team, you love him. And it's
Darius Kasparaitis.
Remember
how much we hated Darius Kasparaitis when he played for the Islanders, and we all loved him.
Yeah, it's like I love this guy. He's like makes plays every week, plays with one leg, and the guy's a gamer. I mean.
He said after that game on Sunday, he said, I'm going to tell my kids someday that I played in a game with TJ Watt and Myles Garrett and I had 2 sacks.
So, I mean, say what you want. I mean, that guy's a gamer and he's a really good player still.
Yeah, this is fun right now until they lose a game they shouldn't.
Well, that's what's going to happen on Thursday. Bet the house, hot tip, 401k, kids fund, take out a second mortgage, Tim, open your FanDuel account, bet it all on Cincinnati because there is no way the Steelers, and that's in Cincinnati, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes,
but they
because
always win in Cincinnati.
they
That's the
are
place they
going,
always
they
win.
are going to lose. Book it, done. It is a Thursday night game. It is Mike Tomlin. They're riding on top of the world. This would pretty much like really put them on top of the division. They lose. They lose this game. And then it gets really like if they lose this game, which they probably will, it's not the end of the world, but it's going to make like then they have three really tough games. They have the Colts, they have Chargers, and Green Bay.
The Packers, yeah.
And Green Bay is going to be a revenge game for Rodgers, so he'll probably want to play really well that game. For some reason, I don't know about the Packers and Chargers, but the Steelers beat the Colts. I don't know why. I don't know how. It's just like the Islanders that are Virginia Tech. Pitt always beats Virginia Tech. The Steelers always beat the Colts, except for when they had Justin Fields last year. But they will beat the Colts. And the Colts are a good team this year. They found their quarterback. Speaking of finding a quarterback, that like, wow, why is Brian Dable still a coach in the NFL? Like,
well, I think he's going to save his job because they're
that. Well, if I was in the NFC East, I would be happy as hell that he saved his job.
I think the moral of the story is that we rush these quarterbacks in. You know, back in the day,
they let the Terry Bradshaws develop.
Yes, even Carson Palmer. Remember like the Bengals for all the mistakes they've made over the years. That was really smart. They let him. John Kitna was the starter for the first like year and a half or whatever because they wanted to let him develop, and that's the way he used to be. And now it's like rush him in there, and now you're seeing all these guys on like second and third stints, like Darnold, like Baker, like Danny Dimes,
even Geno Smith.
Yeah, like, Geno. Yeah. Geno has regressed badly this year, but before that, Geno, like that's another great example. So like sometimes these guys just need some years to just develop and not be rushed in there. Sometimes it's also maybe a bad situation that they're in. They just need a different situation. Now, it doesn't work for everybody. It's not working real well for Justin Fields right now. There's a bunch of other guys it hasn't worked out for either. But I don't know. I think there's a lot to be said for, hey, can we just take our foot off the gas pedal and let these guys kind of come in? Like Cam Ward's really struggling right now, and I like
they fired their coach.
I know. Well, did you see that stat? The last 4 number 1 draft picks have all had their coaches fired in the middle of their rookie season. Wow. What does that do for your progress?
Yeah.
You know, but everybody looks at like Washington last year, and that's what they all want. You know, they all think like, oh, the rookie or the Steelers in 2004.
But the Steelers already had like everything else in place pretty much. They just needed a quarterback.
I know, but they were 6-10 the year before.
Same thing with Washington. Washington had a lot of good pieces already in place, and they just needed they needed to change ownership, which perfect example. We were talking about look, Washington's winning again since they changed ownership. Amazing how that happened.
Yes. Yep. But that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants what they did last year with Daniels. They want that like instant success.
Even Houston kind of had that.
Yeah. Yes. So it's possible. It's just
it's not likely.
It's not likely. And so it's better to take your time. And I think the Steelers will be in good position to do that if they indeed draft a quarterback next year like everybody's expecting. Because they're a franchise that is patient. The other problem is that the way the NFL works, like to your point about Callahan, if you're a coach or a GM, there's no time. You're not given that leash to go to the ownership and to the fans and say, hey, this is going to take a while. Like what the Penguins are doing right now. Hey, this is going to take a while. Everybody sit tight. There's going to be some rough play that you're going to have to sit through. But we're going to get through this, and we have a plan. They can't do that because they'll lose their jobs.
Well, coming back to this season, can the Steelers win the division? I say after these next 4 games, they probably go 2-2 in some fashion. somewhere that somehow they beat the Colts and they beat one of the other teams, probably the Packers. They probably or the Chargers. The Chargers, they might be the Chargers because the Chargers play like a similar type of game to the Steelers, but they definitely lose Thursday to Cincinnati. There's no way they win that game, and if they do, I will happily eat crow next
Yeah,
time
I
we
mean,
do this.
they should like everything. Joe
No,
Flacco is
no, Tim, no, no,
yeah,
no. This is a Mike Tomlin game all the way.
yeah, I
That's
know.
it.
It's yeah. I don't blame you for feeling that way. You're right. On paper, they should win, but yeah, you're right. It's just one of those games where they won. Cincinnati kind of has their backs against the wall, and now they have Flacco. Tomlin was so upset.
Yeah, that they trade. Yeah, he was mad at Cleveland for trading him. Yeah,
yeah. He's like, "What are they doing?" Well, because he wanted to play against Jake Browning.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to play against Jake Browning.
Yeah,
and now he has to play against somebody that's semi-competent. Flacco. And Flacco has had a lot of. You talked about losing to the Colts last year. That was Flacco. So Flacco's had plenty of success against us over the years, unfortunately.
So going back to the division, the Bengals are 2-4 right now. The Ravens are 1-5, and the Browns are 1-5. Are the Ravens cooked completely?
No, I refuse to believe that.
They can go 9-2, I think, and make the playoffs. Like I saw that on NFL Prime Time. They said they can go 9-2, and they do play an easier schedule. Like it's kind of weird, like the Raven, but they have to now sweep the Steelers, which that probably isn't going to happen. But normally, Ravens Pittsburgh is a home and home series.
Winning the division for the Ravens would take a pretty good collapse by us, which is possible as we saw last year. But them making the playoffs, I could definitely see them still making the playoffs. They have a bye week this week. They'll get Lamar back. They'll get healthier, maybe.
Well, their defense. I mean, are they going to be able to fix their defense? That's
I don't know.
Really, the problem.
But they're the Ravens. They just don't stink. Like that's not who they are. Like I know.
I think there's a better chance, and I might eat my words on this one. And I just think I see a maturity in this Bengals team that I've never seen with the Bengals before. Like for once in my life, I think this is an emotionally stable Cincinnati Bengals team. Like.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a porous offensive line that's why Joe Burrow got hurt.
I think this team has a chance. I think the Bengals, if their defense isn't god awful, they held Green Bay down.
God awful.
No, it is. I mean, they held Green Bay down. They just couldn't stop the run. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, maybe I don't think they're the Browns. Obviously, the Browns, but they have one more win than the Ravens.
Well, yeah, I just have more faith in the.
And what about Joe Flacco having to play the Packers on two different teams in the same month? It was like and he beat the Packers with Cleveland, but then he lost to him with Cincinnati. Right. So who's next? Does he go back to the Ravens when they play Green Bay later in the year?
I just have more faith in the Ravens as a franchise than I do in the Bengals, and
I don't. History would tell you that's true, but for some reason I think the Bengals get it together this year, and I could be wrong. I could eat crow. It could be like my Cincinnati prediction on Thursday. I don't know, but I don't know.
I think Cincinnati's cooked. I think Cleveland's just Cleveland, but I think Baltimore has the best chance. If somebody's going to come back and challenge us for the division, it'll be Baltimore.
Baltimore's schedule is a lot easier. They do have to play us twice, but outside of that, they still got to play. Have they played Cincinnati yet? I don't think so. And they probably haven't played Cleveland. So
yeah, they have like Miami and Chicago, I think, are their next two games. So again,
Chicago's sneaky better than you think. That's not a gimme game.
Fair. But we have to play Chicago too. Like
that's not a gimme game for us.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, who'd they just beat? Washington?
Yes.
Yeah. So, and the Bills lost to Atlanta. What the heck was
that? Well,
this
is so, yeah, one last point to make on the whole who can win the division. This year is completely upside down so far. You know, the Colts are good. The Ravens and the Bills and even the teams like the Lions look so good.
Even the Chiefs are 500, 3-3. The Chiefs here. Put this in your little head and think about it. The Chiefs and the Carolina Panthers have the same record.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like
Carolina's really good at home. I will say this: Carolina does play a lot better at home than they do on the road.
I have a feeling the Kansas City's like New England was all those years. So
yeah.
Kansas City's having an off year. But then
well, maybe they can steal more of Cade Bell's plays, and they'll be
like what they did to Detroit the other night. Like they'll be back, and then they'll be right in the thick of it, and then they'll be in the playoffs, and then they'll be in the Super Bowl. That's the way this season ends. This season ends with Kansas City in the Super Bowl, just like every other. So it'll be like but for the next 17.
It'll be a circuitous route. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be like, oh, everything's everything is wrong. Everything's upside down. This is the upside down season. Anything can happen. Like the Dolphins went on a run and are in the playoffs. Something crazy like that'll happen, and then the Chiefs will just be in the Super Bowl. That's how
against Philadelphia again.
Right. I won't even predict the other side of it, but that's how this ends. Because I've seen the movie too many times with the Patriots. It's like I know how the movie ends. It always
you got like you said, you got a good coach, a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Their defense doesn't suck. So
they're getting that Rashi Rice back from suspension. Yeah. They're just gonna. I bet they go on a run. I bet they win like the next 5 games or something crazy.
But they're in a tough division. They are in a even the Raiders aren't terrible in that division.
Yeah, but the Chargers are starting to falter. Denver, I mean they have a great defense, but Bo Nix Bo Nix is doing the CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Like I was so good that first season. Now I'm like kind of not as good the second season. So I think, yeah, I just watch. I know, like I said, I've seen this movie a bunch of times.
So, all right. Bet the house on the Raiders making the Super Bowl. No. What was Chris Berman's pick? It was always Buffalo and San Francisco.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, everybody, for listening. You can check us out on Facebook. Please give us a review if your podcast service allows you to give reviews, because that really helps people find us as well. Tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.